book or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around our area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York now continues. Your reader for this hour is Bruce, and we will be reading from the Southtowns Bee from Thursday, June 11th, 2026. One of the top stories, Priori fills vacant seat on West Seneca Town Board. It's either Priori or Prior. I'm going to go with Priori. Article by Eric Kepler. Yes. West Seneca Town Board members unanimously approved the appointment of Mark D. Priori to the open seat on the Town Council at Monday's meeting, filling the position vacated by Jeff Bekaric more than 2 months ago. Priori will serve through 2026 and then have to run this November for the right to fill out the remainder of Bekaric's term, which ends in 2027. So the position will be up for election again in November of 2027 for a new term. This boils down to a 5-month job interview to the people who are my bosses, Priori said. At the end of the day, it's going to be the voters that I need to impress enough to trust me to do the due diligence in an ethical and professional manner for a 1-year stint. I'm here to be accountable to the citizens. A 26-year West Seneca Town resident, Priori is a corrections lieutenant with Erie County Sheriff's Office, working at the Erie County Correctional Facility in Alden, and CSEA Local 815 officer. His wife, Patty, is also a lieutenant in the Sheriff's Office. Priori has 2 sons, Ryan and Brendan, and 2 stepchildren, Mike and Katie. Priori ran for the New York State Assembly's 142nd District in 2024 and lost to 3-time incumbent Patrick Burke by a percentage margin of 50.6 to 49.2. I'm a lifelong public servant, Priori said. I've been working for the City of Buffalo and Erie County. I believe in giving back to the community, and especially at the town level. It's imperative to me because we're raising our 4 kids here and want them to be able to raise their children here. Not everyone was happy with the appointment. During public comment, resident Jeff Quain took the town board to task for moving the appointment to the beginning of the meeting before anyone could address the matter. There was no opportunity for public comment, which shows a blatant disregard for transparency. Quain said, "It's insulting that there was no opportunity to comment on the appointment." Councilman Bob Bridenstine said that fewer than 6 individuals from all political spectrums had applied. Some were interviewed and some withdrew, and that Priori was the best choice. In a statement following the meeting, West Seneca Democratic Committee Chair Amy Cobbler also bemoaned the inability to comment and ask questions. Ready, set, scoot. Town of Aurora promoting car-free travel this June. Article by Justin Sullivan. Residents are being encouraged to swap car trips for walking, biking, and scooting as part of the 2026 Scoot Around June Challenge, a month-long community initiative aimed at reducing carbon emissions while promoting healthy, active transportation. The annual challenge, organized through the Town of Aurora's Clean Green Future initiative, invites participants to log miles traveled by foot, bicycle, or scooter throughout the 30 days of June. Residents are encouraged to use alternative transportation for everyday errands, including trips to local restaurants, coffee shops, pharmacies, grocery stores, and entertainment venues. Participants can work toward membership in the challenge's 10-mile club, 25-mile club, or 50-mile club by tracking their mileage during the month. Those who take part will be recognized before the Village of East Aurora's July 3rd fireworks celebration at Hamlin Park. The challenge, sponsored by the Town of Aurora and the Village of East Aurora, will include prize opportunities. Participating businesses throughout the community are displaying Scoot Around June flyers with QR codes that residents can also scan for chances to win store-sponsored prizes. Winners will be selected at random, and prizes will be distributed in July. First launched in 2023, Scoot Around June was created to help lower the community's carbon footprint and highlight the benefits of walkable and bikeable neighborhoods. Since the program's inception, 224 participants have registered and logged a combined 1,682.22 miles, resulting in an estimated reduction of 1,446 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions and saving nearly 74 gallons of gasoline, according to data cited from the EPA equivalency calculator. We are proud to live in a town with so many residents who recognize the importance of a walkable, bikeable community, said newly elected Village of East Aurora Mayor Luke Wonczewski. Newly appointed Town of Aurora Councilman Benjamin Garvey recapped the initiative's successful first week during the Town of Aurora's June 8th meeting. At the time of the meeting, Garvey reported the initiative was nearing 100 participants and 300 recorded miles. "It's not too late to sign up," Garvey said during the meeting. The town's next meeting is scheduled for June 22nd. The initiative comes as the Town of Aurora looks into composting options. Having hosted a no-cost community summit last Thursday, June 4th, aimed at expanding awareness of local composting initiatives and encouraging residents to participate in sustainable waste management programs. Registration and mileage logging for the 2026 Scoot Around June Challenge are available online throughout June at www.cleangreenaurora.com/scootaroundjune. Orchard Park Village garbage recycling moving to Wednesdays. The Village of Orchard Park is changing its weekly garbage and recycling schedule. Beginning Wednesday, July 8th, garbage and recycling collection will move from Fridays to Wednesdays for all village residents. The change is being implemented to improve collection operations and provide a more efficient and reliable service schedule, according to Mary Joanne Litwin Clinton. "We want to ensure residents are aware of this change well in advance and have time to adjust their schedules," Clinton said. "While any change in routine takes some getting used to, this new collection day will help create a more efficient service schedule for our community. We appreciate everyone's cooperation and patience during the transition." To assist with the transition, residents will receive their regularly scheduled collection on Friday, July 3rd, followed by the first garbage collection on July 8th. Then, all garbage and recycling pickup will occur on Wednesdays. The change applies to both regular household garbage and recycling collection. There are no changes to accepted recycling materials or collection procedures. New garbage and recycling collection schedules will be available at the village office and may also be downloaded from the village website. For more information, call 716-662-9327. Simmons sworn in as THSA president. Article by Justin Sullivan. Town of Holland Highway Superintendent Jason Simmons was recently sworn in as president of the Town Highway Superintendents Association of Erie County, a nonprofit and nonpartisan group of town highway superintendents that provide instruction in highway construction and maintenance, advocate for better and safer local roads, secure necessary legislative funding, and defend the principle of local home rule and town government. Simmons was sworn in by World War II veteran John Long, Ph.D., at the Buffalo Yacht Club, alongside officers and fellow highway superintendents Rick Ruziniak of Cheektowaga, John Pilato of Lancaster, and Brian Adams of West Seneca. as well as association vendor director Rick Wainwright. Simmons was elected in 2018 and, before taking over as superintendent, had already spent more than 3 decades working within the Holland Highway Department. Unlike cities, which goes by appointments, all 25 towns within Erie County require the highway superintendent to be elected to the position and serve terms similar to any other elected official. In addition to education and advocacy work, the Town Highway Superintendents Association of Erie County also attends community events and recently donated proceeds from their annual summer equipment show in East Aurora to the nonprofit East Aurora Police Department Quaker Club PBA to help support officers with personal struggles and other various needs. Simmons' new position, succeeding Clarence's Jamie Dussing, comes at the town of Holland welcomes a brand new highway garage on Edgewood Drive. West Middle Yorkers Club connects with local seniors. Article by Paulina Bargnesi. West Seneca Senior Center Director Kelsey Lignos called it a collaboration between generations. Several senior citizens visited West Seneca West Middle School on May 29th to receive emergency kit packages that had been prepared by student members of the West Middle Yorkers Club. The Yorkers Club is a group of students who are looking to better the West Seneca community. They carry out their civic duty by helping others and participating in activities like volunteer work and collection drives. This year, the club members made 37 emergency kits with bandages, gauze pads, cold packs, tweezers, batteries, hand sanitizer, lip balm, travel-size pill containers, playing cards, and puzzle books. These kits were then donated to the West Seneca Senior Center. This project was facilitated by Abigail Quick, the school resource officer at West Middle School. Quick reached out to Lignos and asked if she would be interested in receiving the kits that the students had put together and asked what the seniors needed most. I had asked some of our seniors what types of items they would find necessary, and it was right around when we had a big rainstorm. One of the volunteers said she had lost power and wished she had an emergency kit that she knew the location of right away. Lingo said, I thought that would be a great idea for them to collect a whole bunch of items. The hope for these emergency kits was to create something that would be easily accessible for seniors during Western New York's harsh weather storms. When the seniors visited West Middle School, the students were extremely excited and proud to hand over the emergency kits that they had been working on. They were able to see and have a conversation with the seniors and see how beneficial all their dedication and work had been. Quick said, plans are already underway for a similar community project next fall. We have some spindle items from Eric Kepler, the Southtowns co-editor. Construction season. The New York State Department of Transportation is advising motorists that the State Route 16 bridge over the East Branch Cazenovia Creek in the town of Holland will be reduced to a single lane of alternating traffic controlled by a temporary signal throughout the month of June. Drivers should expect delays and consider alternate routes when possible. More construction. Work to rehabilitate the substructure of the Union Road Bridge, State Route 277, in the town of West Seneca will begin on July 1st. According to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the section of roadway, which includes the bridge, covers an area where the big-eye chub, a New York State threatened fish species, is known to be present. According to avoid impacts to spawning big-eye chub and development of early life stages, in-water work is not permitted between May 1st and June 30th. The project remains on schedule for completion by the end of 2026 to ensure the long-term safety and integrity of the bridge. Narcan training. Staff from Spectrum Health's Medication Assistant Treatment Team will once again share community resources and offer free training on the use of Narcan, naloxone, from noon to 3 p.m. on the second Friday of the month at the Town of West Seneca Community Center Atrium, 1300 Union Road. Narcan can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. Knowing how to properly administer Narcan to someone who may have accidentally overused a prescription pain medication or who used a street drug that was laced with a powerful additive can help save lives. The training takes only 2 minutes. The MAT team will be there on July 12th, or June 12th, July 10th, and August 14th. Spectrum Health also operates a full-service counseling center at 326 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca. Taste of Buffalo. The Taste of Buffalo, presented by Tops Friendly Markets, has announced the participating restaurants, food trucks, and wineries for its 43rd annual festival set for July 11th and 12th along Delaware Avenue and Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo. A total of 42 restaurants and food trucks, along with 4 wineries, will participate in this year's event, including 13 first-time vendors. Participating restaurants and food vendors include AJ's Kitchen, Avenue 29 Foods, Babka's Pierogi, BW's Barbecue, Caribbean Taste, Fat Bob's Smokehouse, India Gate, Just Wing and Company, Just Pizza and Wing Company, Nick Charlap's Ice Cream, Osteria at Ulrich's, Roaming Bison Barbecue, Steak Stirs, Sweet Melodies, and Venus Greek and Mediterranean. The Taste of Buffalo is a nonprofit event that supports local charities, Feed More, and scholarship programs for students pursuing culinary and hospitality-related degrees. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:17. We have our B editorial. Cut your cancer risk, stay safe in the sun. There are a few medical diagnoses that strike fear into every heart. Cancer is one of them. While some cancers are inherited, there are some that you can hopefully avoid by taking simple steps to greatly reduce your risk factors. And as the weather steadily improves and we soak up some much-needed sun, taking just a minute or two to apply sunscreen can drastically reduce our odds of getting skin cancer. The following tips, adapted from a post on the FDA website, can help you to stay safe by picking a good sunscreen and using it properly. Use broad-spectrum sunscreen. This will protect you from both UVA and UVB rays. Use SPF 15 at minimum. Individuals with lighter skin should consider SPF ranging from 30 to 50. One of our editors has been known to reach for SPF 100 in tropical climates. SPF is a level of protection from sunburns, and despite a common myth that we ourselves fell victim to in our editorial from 2021, it has nothing to do with the amount of time you can spend in the sun. Put your sunscreen on 15 minutes before sun exposure. Apply sunscreen everywhere. People often forget the ears, nose, lips, hands, back of the neck, top of the feet, hairline, and areas where thin hair exposes their head. Reapply sunscreen every 2 hours at minimum. No sunscreen is truly waterproof, so if you're sweating or in the water, you'll need to reapply more often. Your sunscreen will have instructions on its container. Do not use expired sunscreen, as it may no longer be effective. Keep your sunscreen out of the sun and heat, whether in the shade, covered with a towel, or in a cooler. The FDA has not authorized the marketing of non-prescription sunscreen products in the form of wipes, towelettes, powders, body washes, or shampoos. Carefully read the labels of any non-U.S. sunscreen you may purchase, as they are not subject to the same regulations. In addition to protecting yourself with sunscreen, the FDA recommends limiting your sun exposure, especially between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., and using clothing as a protective barrier between your skin and the sun. While the risk of skin cancer is scary, we personally will not let it stop us from living our lives and enjoying the always too short summers here in West Seneca and Western New York. But we're going to be smart about it with plenty of sunscreen and breaks in the shade, and we heartily encourage you to do the same. Stay safe and enjoy the summer. The FDA requires warnings on sunscreen that are less than SPF 15 and or not broad spectrum, saying they can prevent sunburns but won't keep you safe from skin cancer or early skin aging. Out of the past, 29 years ago, June 11th, 1997. A deal is a deal. Last Friday night, it was time for West Seneca resident Rick Gurney to pay up. About a year ago, West Seneca Town Councilman Timothy Wroblewski asked his friend Gurney what he thought his chances would be of winning a seat on the town council. "I told him he had a better chance of getting a lead role in Ben-Hur," said Gurney. Ouch. Wroblewski called back a few minutes later and asked what Gurney would do if he won. "I'll cut your lawn wearing a dress," was the reply. With Election Day in the wind long past, it was time for Gurney to get out his best dress. Last Friday night, a crowd of about 100 people gathered in front of Wroblewski's sky-high drive home to watch the show. Gurney, dressed in a pink frock, work boots, and a blonde wig, mowed the grass while puffing on a cigar. "I'll never open my mouth again," Gurney said. Spectators made donations, which will benefit a Rotary Foundations project, the proposed golf course to be located on Southwestern Boulevard. Prompted by several complaints, West Seneca Town Board officials agreed to hold a meeting at which both residents and leaders of Youth Engaged in Services, YES, program can air out their concerns. Senior Wishes grants 500th wish. Senior Wishes, a local nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing joy and connection to older adults across Western New York, recently celebrated the granting of its 500th wish. The milestone wish took place at People Inc.'s Pine Apartments in Lockport, where residents are now enjoying a beautiful new vegetable and herb garden created especially for their community. More than just a garden, this new space is a place where friendships can grow, neighbors can gather, and joy can flourish. Through every wish granted, Senior Wishes continues to remind seniors that they are never too old to dream, hope, and see a wish come true. Several local organizations helped make this milestone wish possible, including Niagara Produce, Niagara County Office for the Aging, Crowley Webb Associates, and People Inc. Senior Wishes started in 2013, grants meaningful experiences to income-eligible seniors living independently or in care facilities throughout Erie, Niagara, Orleans, Genesee, and Wyoming counties. Wishes have included attending cultural and sporting events, reconnecting with loved ones, and rediscovering hobbies and passions that bring purpose and happiness. In addition to its wish-granting program, Senior Wishes also honors local centenarians through the Century Club and recognizes veterans through its Hero Boxes of Veteran program. These recognition programs have no income guidelines. To qualify for a wish, individuals must be age 65 or older and residents of Western New York. Income eligibility requirements are under $38,000 annually for one-person household and under $44,000 annually for a two-person household. Seniors residing in permanent care facilities are exempt from income requirements. For more information about Senior Wishes, visit seniorwishes.org or call 716 508 2121. An article from Gary Dixon, West Seneca Town Supervisor. 40 years is long enough. The former Bethlehem Steel site in Lackawanna is not my jurisdiction, but as someone who spends a lot of time thinking about how local governments pay for their services, I feel compelled to say something about a situation that, frankly, is an embarrassment. Bethlehem Steel closed in 1983. At its peak, the plant employed 20,000 people and generated the equivalent of $28 to $45 million a year in today's dollars in direct property taxes alone. The city of Lackawanna has never recovered. Recently, it considered overriding the state property tax cap just to keep its budget afloat. The massive lakefront site with deep-water port access, rail connections, and minutes from the Canadian border is roughly 15% redeveloped after 40 years. This is not just Lackawanna's problem. Every Erie County taxpayer pays a price. When a major city in the county has a collapsed tax base, the county had to adjust, shifting more of the county tax burden onto everyone else. County taxes fund the health department, courts, social services, and much more. A rebuilt Bethlehem Steel site generating serious tax revenue would reduce that burden for every property owner in West Seneca, Orchard Park, Aurora, and every other city, town, and village in Erie County. Meanwhile, New York State spent $1.5 billion on the Buffalo Billion. The centerpiece was a $750 million factory handed to Tesla and returned 54 cents on the dollar by the state's own measure, was built through a corrupt procurement process, and mostly makes EV chargers. More recently, the state gave out billions of dollars in additional aid to New York City. That same money, directed at the Bethlehem Steel site, with discipline and accountability, could have changed everything for us. What would a serious billion-dollar commitment look like? I am not an environmental engineer or a Port Authority consultant, so I cannot give you precise figures. But in rough terms, a meaningful share would go to completing environmental remediation of the full site, which has dragged on for decades and must be finished before serious development can follow. A significant portion would go to building out the Port of Buffalo, the deepwater port facility on the site itself, into a genuine Great Lakes logistics hub. The bulk would fund site preparation and targeted recruitment of anchor manufacturers, the kind that bring thousands of jobs, not dozens. This is not a gift of public money for private developers. Public investment goes into preparing the site, then the private sector competes to use it. Nobody should have a factory built for them. The government does its job. Clean, ready land with real infrastructure. Then gets out of the way. That is similar to what Erie County has been attempting at Renaissance Commerce Park, just a scale far too small for the size of the problem. The economist Thomas Sowell wrote that there are no solutions, only trade-offs. New York State treating a functioning industrial city and lower taxes for every Erie County and bailing out New York City. We do not have to keep making choices like that. The latest state budget is $15 billion more than last year's budget. We can find the money for Lackawanna and for Erie County. 40 years is long enough. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:30. Now the Be Heard section. Its readers express their opinions. While attempting to go to the West Seneca Post Office today, I was unable to make the left into the building because all the parents were lined up picking their children up from Queen of Heaven Grammar School, and they blocked the driveway. I don't know why so many people have to pick up their children when we provide beautiful bus service in our town, and we just passed a budget asking to have more buses. Perhaps if the parents had to pay a penalty for not using the buses, maybe this would solve the problem. A couple of weeks ago, I contacted former Councilman Pekarik by mistake, not realizing he wasn't still on the council, to vent at him about the high grass at a vacant property near me. He was very polite and pointed out that he was no longer on the board, but directed me on who to contact, code enforcement, and how to word it. It was extremely nice of him, even when I wasn't the most polite. It was the same thing he used to do while he was in office. And then 2 weeks ago, after I contacted code, the grass got cut, and everything looks nicer. It was super kind of him. I really miss him not being on the town board. Regarding the June 4th comment in the Be Heard column concerning the former Seneca Mall property, it is important to note that the property has been sold. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the developer, not the town board, to move this project forward. Furthermore, Supervisor Dixon was instrumental in advancing this project. Rather than criticizing him and the town board, credit should be given where it is due. The property remained undeveloped for more than 30 years before meaningful progress was made under his leadership. Before publishing criticism, it would have been prudent to research facts surrounding the project instead of asking others to investigate the matters. You could have taken the initiative to do so yourself and gain a better understanding of the circumstances before submitting your comments to the Bee. I'm disappointed in the direction of the town. Currently, they've been adding over the past year new full-time positions in recreation, finance, senior services, highway, not to mention raises for elected officials, wasting money on new flowers, and a new event sponsored by the Civic and Patriotic Commission. This is despicable. The town is heading in the wrong direction. It's almost as bad as when Megan was in office. Time for a change. I find the Be Heard calls and letters to the editor extolling the virtues of ex-West Seneca Councilman Jeff Pekarik deeply disturbing. Did Jeff do some good things? Absolutely. Jeff, however, betrayed the public trust by leaking confidential town business to a third party. These insidious messages included confidential HR information and even information on an internal West Seneca Police Department investigation. Screenshots of these messages were posted on the West Seneca Democrat Facebook page to quote that organization, "When a sitting councilman betrays the public trust by using confidential information to advance his own political agenda, it should be offensive to everyone who calls West Seneca home." I couldn't agree more. Make no mistake, the fact that Councilman Pekarik resigned in disgrace was no one's doing but his own. The police blotter. Ex-employee becomes verbally aggressive. In Elma on June 4th, a man's trailer was struck by the vehicle behind him. When he pulled over to exchange information, the striking vehicle continued on. On June 4th, 2 individuals were transported to Buffalo General Hospital for treatment by AMR after a vehicle attempting to turn from Transit Road onto Clinton Street collided with an oncoming vehicle. On June 5th, a woman refused to leave the building and became verbally aggressive after quitting her job. Patrol responded to escort the woman off the premises. In Holland, on June 1st, a woman reported that an unknown individual put strike strips on Parker Road. This caused her tire to go flat. On June 2nd, patrol discovered a plastic baggie containing a white powdery substance and drug paraphernalia in the possession of a 33-year-old man who was taken into custody on an active warrant. He was further charged with third-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance, fourth-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance, second-degree criminally using drug paraphernalia, and 2 counts of seventh-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance. In Marilla, on May 31st, patrol provided traffic assistance for the fire department after oil was spilled in the roadway of Two Rod Road and at Bullis Road. In Wales, on June 2nd, a complainant reported a neighbor was clearing out their house and burning items in their yard. Patrol spoke with the neighbor, who agreed to put the fire out. On June 5th, after receiving a traffic complaint about an erratic vehicle, patrol located the vehicle in question. After investigation, a 41-year-old Wales man was charged with DWI. Editor's note: the Bee's police blotter is a sampling of unusual calls received by the police department. It is not intended to be a complete record of all incidences reported. Mount Calvary Cemetery restores Shea Monument. Mount Calvary Cemetery restored the family monument at the gravesite of Michael Shea on Saturday, June 6th, as part of the 100th anniversary celebration of Shea's Performing Arts Center. Shea, a pioneering figure in Buffalo's cultural and entertainment history, died in 1934 and is buried in Section F of the cemetery, which is located at 800 Pine Ridge Heritage Boulevard, Cheektowaga. The restoration was carried out by the regional headstone cleaning business, a grave attraction. The care of Shea's gravesite was part of an ongoing commemoration of the theater's centennial. Shea was born in 1859 to Irish immigrants' parents in Buffalo's Old First Ward. He rose from humble beginnings as a teenage dock laborer to become one of the region's most influential entertainment entrepreneurs. Without formal education beyond the age of 16, he built a theater empire rooted in his understanding of working-class audiences' desire for high-quality, accessible entertainment. Starting with the saloon on Elk Street and later a music hall on Clinton Street, Shea overcame early setbacks, including a devastating fire, to establish a network of theaters throughout Buffalo and beyond. He introduced vaudeville to the city, expanded into motion pictures, and eventually owned 13 theaters across western New York and Toronto. His crowning achievement was the opulent Buffalo Theater, now known as Shea's Performing Arts Center, which opened on January 6, 1926. Designed with extraordinary craftsmanship, including interiors by Louis Comfort Tiffany, it became one of the most remarkable theaters in the nation. Even during the Great Depression, Shea refused to lay off employees despite financial losses. Today his legacy continues as Shea thrives as a restored cultural landmark, marking its 100th anniversary. The monument cleaning honors Shea's journey from waterfront laborer to visionary showman and helps preserve his memory for future generations. And now articles from The Sun. and the Erie County Independent, serving Hamburg, Angola, Blaisdell, Boston, Derby, Eden, Evans, and Lakeview. Top story. Is the Gateway Building Revitalization Plan looks to develop finest hotel in the region. Article by Chris Graham. A plan to revitalize the Gateway Building and the surrounding area around it now includes the developer touting significant hotel space to attract out-of-town guests. For the first time in 2026, Andrew Zandides, a commercial broker developing the plan for the revitalized Gateway Building, was before the Town of Hamburg Planning Board to show the revised plan for the site. Back in March, Zanides, as part of 3556 Lakeshore Development, LLC, was in front of the Hamburg Town Board to see if any adjustment had to be made to the planned unit development rezoning approval that was passed by the board in December of 2024. The 2024 PUD said the 25.5-acre site at 3556 Lakeshore Road would include no more than 16 condominium buildings. The reuse of the existing Gateway Building to include restaurants, condominium space, hotel space for 45 to 65 rooms, and continue the use of office space and an existing daycare. Also included was maintaining existing green space while having landscape buffers and medians. When Zandides arrived in March, he told the town board the project was now set to have 14 condominium buildings. Out of the 14, 8 would be 5-story, 40-unit hotels for 320 rooms. The other 6 buildings would be 5-story, 12-unit condo buildings with covered parking for a total of 72 units. Within the Gateway Building, there would be 102 hotel rooms, the continuance of the office space, 1 restaurant, and the daycare site. At that time, the town board determined that the changes made by Zantides would not elicit any amendment needing to be made to the PUD. But since that meeting in March, the plan has shifted a bit again. Now Zanides is proposing 2 5-story hotel buildings with 17 covered parking spaces on the eastern side of the Gateway Building and 12 5-story condominium buildings with 8 units per building, each with 17 covered parking spaces. The plan for the actual Gateway Building would remain the same with 102 hotel rooms, the continuance of the office space, 1 restaurant, and the daycare site. It's going to be the finest hotel in Buffalo. It will also be, for Hamburg, the largest hotel as measured by the number of suites, Zanides said. With the suites in the Gateway and the 2 buildings, we'll have over 150 suites. Josh Rogers, a planning consultant for Wendell, said the new site plan does not require a PUD amendment. When the PUD was approved, one of the conditions was the project will have 10 years to be completed, with the developer having to return to the board after 10 years if all the phases of the project haven't been finished. Zanide said the plan will be to work on the Gateway Building and then build 2 new buildings at a time. They have a decent amount of time to complete everything, Roger said. The developer is also looking for approval of a 2-lot subdivision on the property. The plan would see the 2 hotels on one parcel and the 12 condominium buildings on the other. The planning board will be hosting a concurrent public hearing on both site plan approval for the Gateway Building plan and its 2-lot subdivision at its meeting on Wednesday, June 17th. You are listening to Around Our Area with the Hamburg Sun right now on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:44. After no public comment, Golf Carts Unlimited moves closer to rebuilding structure. Article by Chris Graham. Golf Carts Unlimited, which suffered a fire to its main building located at 2330 Lakeview Road last August, has moved one step closer to rebuilding that structure. The plan to construct a one-story, 4,700 square foot building and a 1,050 square foot covered patio was in front of the Town of Hamburg Planning Board on June 3rd for a public hearing. No one from the public spoke during the hearing. Once the company gains the necessary approvals from the planning board, the current building will be torn down to build the new building. The patio will also be a new addition to the footprint of the site. The auto shop on the property will remain in place. The new building will allow for more storage, which should solve an issue raised by Planning Board Chair Cynthia Granachin. She said previously that the original site plan approval for Golf Carts Unlimited had a condition of no outdoor storage, yet there is outdoor storage on the property. Owner Mark Payson said once the new structure is built, they will be able to store more golf carts inside the facility. It's expected the board will vote on site plan approval for the new structure and patio at its next meeting on Wednesday, June 17th. Erie County Fair opens nominations for firefighter flag retreat honorees. The Erie County Fair is now accepting nominations for 2 special recognition programs celebrating individuals who serve their communities and country. Community members are encouraged to nominate deserving firefighters, veterans, and active duty military personnel to be honored during the 2026 fair. Nominations are open now through Wednesday, July 15th at ecfair.org. The 2 ceremonies are Daily Firefighter Honoree Ceremony, Daily Flag Retreat Ceremony. The fair's annual Firefighter Honoree Ceremony recognizes active, retired, and/or junior firefighters who demonstrate exceptional commitment to public service and community involvement. One firefighter will be recognized daily during a 6 p.m. ceremony outside the fireman's building. The ceremony includes special recognition and a live performance by the Erie County Fair Pepsi All-Star Band, and each honoree is presented with a custom wooden American flag and a celebratory gift from Budweiser. In addition, the fair will continue the flag retreat ceremony, honoring veterans and active military personnel during a patriotic daily ceremony held at 6:30 in Slade Park. The ceremony features members of the U.S. Army formally lowering the American flag courtesy of Ace Flags and presented to the day's honoree, accompanied by the anthem, military medley, and other patriotic selections performed by the Erie County Fair All-Star Band. Flag retreat honorees will also receive a commemorative gift from Yingling. Honorees for both programs will receive recognition during their ceremony for fair admission passes, a straight shows midway fun card, and $20 in meal vouchers. 12 individuals will be selected for each ceremony, with one honored each day. Selections for both recognition programs will be made by a committee based on nominees' service, leadership, character, and impact on their communities. The fair will also host dedicated celebration days during the annual celebration. Firefighters Day, Friday, August 14th. Free admission and a $10 voucher to firefighters and auxiliary members with valid identification. The evening will conclude with the Erie County Volunteer Firemen's Association memorial service at 7 p.m. outside the Firemen's Building. Veterans Day, Sunday, August 16th. Free admission and a $10 voucher to active military, veterans, and auxiliary members with valid identification. Special programming will include a Veterans Catholic Mass and Veterans Recognition, and featuring a ceremonial enlistment of military recruits. Guests are also encouraged to visit the military corridor near Gate 4 during the fair, featuring displays and engagement opportunities with military organizations and recruiters. Submit a detailed nomination at ecfair.org. Town of Boston residents encouraged to sign up for TextMyGov text messaging system for town updates. Article by Chris Gordon. Residents in the town of Boston who have not signed up for alerts through the TextMyGov text messaging system are being encouraged to do so. During the June 3rd Boston Town Board meeting, Town Supervisor Jason Keating said anyone who has not signed up for it can do so by texting Boston, New York to 91896. Keating told the board it's a change from the Code Red system that the town used for years as a way to communicate with residents largely during emergency situations. According to Keating, this new system isn't just for emergencies, but also able to inform residents that events happen in town. Additionally, it also allows residents to send in questions. He used an example of if someone wants to know when garbage pickup is in the town, the resident can type the word garbage into the system and it will provide information to that resident. In another matter, Keating said the board will have changes to its upcoming summer meeting schedule. He said the next meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, June 17th. But in July and August, the town will only meet once a month. He said those meetings will be held on Wednesday, July 15th and Wednesday, August 19th. The board also approved the fireworks display for the Independence Day celebration at a cost of $15,000. The annual celebration will take place behind Boston Town Hall on Saturday, July 4th. Crime incidents. Cheektowaga man charged for stealing items from hotel room. Town of Hamburg police were called to the Red Roof Inn on Commerce Place on May 31st for a burglary that had just occurred. The man in question, Adam Caffrey, 26 of the town of Cheektowaga, stole credit cards, clothing, and paperwork from a room, the report said. He fled the scene on foot, but was found by police shortly after. He was also found in possession of 3 prescription drugs, police said. He was charged with felony burglary in the 2nd degree, felony criminal possession of a credit card in the 4th degree, petty larceny, and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree. Hamburg man charged for stealing motorcycle. Town of Hamburg police responded to Western New York Gaming on Southwestern Boulevard on June 5th for a report of a stolen vehicle. The complainant said Matthew Brown, 27, of the town of Hamburg, was on security footage taking a motorcycle. The report said police found the motorcycle in the parking lot of Motel 6 on Camp Road. He was charged with felony grand larceny in the 3rd degree, felony grand larceny in the 4th degree, and unauthorized use of a vehicle in the 3rd degree. Penn-Dixie breaks ground on $2 million in new amenities, marking phases 2 and 3 of park expansion. Penn-Dixie Fossil Park and Nature Reserve has broken ground for new on-site facilities. The new facilities Phases 2 and 3 of the organization's current growth plan allow for Penn-Dixie's continued upward growth, opening opportunities for more and greater science and cultural programs at the site. The facilities under construction include an 1,100 square foot pavilion, Phase 2, which was funded by a district grant from the New York State Assembly, and a 520 square foot bathroom facility, which was funded by Erie County. The pavilion was designed by architect Michael Anderson of Abstract Architect PC, will be built by RP Oak Hill Building Company, Inc., and will be utilized for programming such as school field trips, of which Penn-Dixie welcomes more than 5,000 young learners each year. The bathroom facility, Phase 3, will be built by L.B. Foster, includes 4 genderless restrooms, 2 ADA compliant, plus additional space. The facility is expected to serve 15 to 20,000 visitors each year. Completion of construction is anticipated by the fall. There's a famous Chinese proverb that says, "One generation plants the trees, another gets the shade." It is an honor to be involved with developing such a special place in our community, said Dr. Phil Stokes, Executive Director of Penn-Dixie. Phase 1 of the project commenced in 2022 and included the redevelopment of a 4-acre portion of the former Pennsylvania-Dixie cement quarry, which has been vacant since the early 1970s. Phase 1 included site engineering, grading, stormwater mitigation, and installation of a parking area. Phase 1 was completed in 2024. Together, all 3 phases of the project represent an investment of nearly $2 million in Penn-Dixie's future and in the continued growth of science-based learning, outdoor recreation, and community engagement in Western New York. The town of Hamburg is proud to be home to Penn-Dixie Fossil Park and Nature Reserve and support the improvements they are making to this valuable asset in our community, said Town Supervisor Elizabeth Farrell Lawrence. We applaud Dr. Stokes, the staff, board of directors, and volunteers for their continual dedication to this special site. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Bruce. Thank you for listening, and as always, make it a great day.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, at 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability